Well, Donald Trump Jr., the president's oldest son, has a new book out. It's called Triggered: How the Left Thrives on Hate and Wants to Silence Us. Trump Jr. joins us via satellite to talk about the book and more. We thank you for being with us this morning.
Good to be with you, Art. Thanks.
Well, let's start with the book's title, Triggered: How the Left Thrives on Hate and Wants to Silence Us. Right now, you're part of the most powerful family in the free world. How can anyone silence you, and why would they want to?
Well, listen, I think the reality is they're trying. You see that, whether it's the mainstream media, whether it's censorship on the social media platforms. These are all things that I've been talking about. I mean, I can do it for a few minutes on an interview like this, but with the book, it was time to actually go into long form, to be able to discuss the intricacies of that, things I've been complaining about for years. So, yeah, we won, but despite the media, despite the hatred, if you look at the results of my father's presidency, unprecedented, low all-time unemployment numbers for every demographic, unprecedented high new startup businesses. We're making progress on the world stage again. We're respected again. And yet you get 95% negative media coverage. It's not a fair fight. 2020 on paper right now, or it should be over, but it's not, because we're not on a level playing field. You have a mainstream media that's decided that they are going to be the marketing division of the Democrat Party. And so we have to utilize that voice. We have to push back. We have to fight. And that's what this book is really about.
Yeah, in your book, and I'm putting it mildly, you do take issue with the press and those who criticize your father. Right now, your father facing impeachment hearings from Democrats. Polls show nearly half the country siding with the hearings. You see this as an attack on your father?
Of course. I mean, the Washington Post wrote the original article called "The Case for Impeachment" 19 minutes. 19 minutes, Art, after he was inaugurated, back in early 17. This impeachment inquiry started on November 9th, 2016, the day he was the nominee, the day he won that election. And it's been going on ever since. I mean, I think the regular people see through that nonsense. They see through, these phony hearings where Adam Schiff is the judge, jury, and executioner. Adam Schiff, the same guy that's been leaking for years, the same guy that got up on TV cameras in front of the American people for years and said he's seen evidence of collusion. We're still waiting, Adam. This guy's running a sham process, but he's leaking to the media, and because of the nature of Congress, that's all that those people are seeing. So this thing is really nonsense. I'd love to see, and I believe so many people in your home state, let the president do his job. But they don't want that, because my father upset the apple cart. He went in there, he took on the establishment, and he won. And now he's winning for America. And that's a real problem for the establishment, and that's why he's taking the hits that he's taking.
Well, Donald, here we've got a big Senate race coming up here in Alabama next year. Your father's former Attorney General Jeff Sessions thinking about getting in that race right now. Doug Jones holding down that former seat by Jeff Sessions. And what do you think? Now, this is a former Attorney General for your father, Doug Jones, holding that seat. What would you say to Alabamians about that Senate race here in Alabama?
Listen, I think last time, it was an interesting thing. When you looked at the resume of the person that was running for the Republicans, it was, pretty sad. So I can actually see why it went, that way in the end. I don't think that will be the case. I think the Republican nominee is going to be someone who's good, someone who's willing to fight for the president, who's willing to stand up to Congress. Doug Jones is a liberal. I don't think that's going to fly all that well in Alabama, and I think he'll lose. That's sort of a no-brainer, and I trust the people of Alabama to make the right decision on who's going to be their nominee for the Republican side. They got to get involved. I think everyone has to vote, not just sort of, the most active, Republicans in there, because that tends to screw up, the mainstream candidate for later on. But I think if they do that, they're going to make the right decision, and I think they have a couple good people to choose from.
Well, you sound like a politician. There is politics in your future. When your father leaves office, what's next for you?
Well, listen, I've got to see a lot of it. I've got to see the hatred. I got called up. I was called a traitor. I was called, said I was committed treason by half of the United States Congress and Senate. I've done 30 hours in there. I realized maybe at 41 that I have a lot more of my father's genes than I may have thought. So it's made me fight back. It's why I wrote this book. So, who knows? My only focus right now is 2020. It's getting my father reelected because I see that his policies are winning. But going around the country, I'll be in Birmingham this Thursday at 7 o'clock at the Books A Million there doing a book signing. And when I see those people and I see the results and I see the stories that they tell me how excited they are that wages are going up, that they got the job they've been looking for forever, that makes it all worth it. My only focus is 2020, but, I'm never going to rule it out for the future because it's been an amazing ride.
So, Donald, quickly now, you're spending time here promoting your book. Are you going to stick around to go to the Alabama-LSU game with the father?
You know, I know he's going to be there. I'm going to be running around the country actually doing the book. You know, the book tour was set up before I knew about the game. So unfortunately, I'm going to miss that one. But I think he's going to be there, and it's going to be incredible.
All right. Thanks so much. Really do appreciate it. And the book, Triggered: How the Left Thrives on Hate and Wants to Silence Us, it is now out. Donald Trump Jr. joining us via satellite. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Let's get a quick check now of weather and traffic back to back.